Everybody will get started here in about 5 minutes. Feel free to talk to me in the chat window. I like to chat while I'm sewing, and we'll get started here shortly. Just doing some math on my little quilt journal, not on it, in it. My little book here. I'm figuring out how I'm going to do my borders. So that would work. Hi, Vanessa. It's still sunny outside here. I think it's supposed to rain, Monday again. I think. We've been getting a lot of rain. I'm not complaining about that. I'm very thankful. It was dry here for so long. But yes, so as most of you know, what I'm doing right now, I am making a quilt top out of the leftover parts. Oh, wonderful, Vanessa. So yeah, wonderful. This will make a big quilt. I mean, even without a border, it'd still be about 82 by 82 inches. But I'm going to put a border around mine. I was trying to think, because I had to cut 4 10-inch squares out of some yardage I had to get my blocks up to the right number. So I now will actually have 81 blocks. That leaves 1 square left over out of, each layer cake is either 40 or 42. On Kaffe is 42 squares. So that means there would be a total of 84 blocks if you use them all, which means you can do a 9 by 9 block layout for the 81. You could do an 8 by 10, which would be 80 blocks. And that 8 by 10 would be like approximately 72 by 90 without a border. But I had an epiphany while I was sitting here thinking about borders for this, because I want to put a border on it. I mean, here's 1 block. I got everything pressed. I'm going to finish piecing all the blocks in this session, but here it is. There's 1 of the blocks. And sitting here and looking at my monitor, what was in behind me? Those are all Kaffe fabrics from a Kaffe jelly roll that I pieced into a jelly roll type of, like a jelly roll quilt top. 1 jelly roll makes 1 quilt top. Guess what I'm cutting my borders out of, everybody? It's going to have 2 borders. One will be a small inner border out of this Kaffe fabric right here, this black with the purple on top. That'll be the inside border. And I'm going to cut probably 6 or 6.5 inch strips this way. So I have piano keys to go around my outside border. I'm going to turn this into my border is what I'm saying. So yeah, I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone basically. So yeah, and this is the same, a lot of the same prints, color-wise, size-wise, some different colors than what I have in the top, but yeah, it'll blend in perfectly together. Check it out. Look at that. Yeah, the colors are all there. It's going to blend really nice, and I'm just glad I had that epiphany. So, tonight what I'm going to be doing, I got everything cut in half. I have 2 stacks like this. Okay. And this is where I cut my first, what I was working on earlier. I have all of these cut, and they're into 2 stacks because I'm going to take 1 piece off of each stack to chain piece the rest of the blocks together. And then it'll be time for another pressing step. I did press everything while in between the noon session I did today. Hi, Christina. So tonight I'm going to get, on this session, I'm going to get all of these pieced, and then I will press them off camera. And then on the next episode, episode 4, that'll either be tomorrow or Monday. I have not decided which. It depends whether I go mushroom hunting tomorrow, whether I do an episode tomorrow. We'll see. But the next episode will be setting them all together. Like I said, I will have this top completely finished probably before Friday. So next Friday, for Feature Friday, I'll probably start another quilt top. Okay. So it is time. I'm going to get started. But yes, here is my border. All I have to do, I'm treating it like a piece of fabric, and I'm going to make my cuts this way, and that'll give me a beautiful, excuse me, piece border for my quilt. Okay. Alrighty. So, I'm going to swap my camera out. I'm so excited, there weren't any hiccups. Listen, everybody, if you see anything odd or if sound is off, please let me know in the chat window so I can address that when I go off camera. But right now I have all 3 of my cameras up and running, and it's not crashing anything, and I'm so happy. The little things in life, right? Okay, let's switch to this camera right here. And here are my 2 stacks. Everything all nice and neatly pressed. So one stack, I'm going to flip it upside down. That way it just throws they were fairly identical stacks, so by turning it upside down, it'll automatically, I just have to peel off the top layer, one from each side, to stitch it down with. Yeehaw. And as you see, I'm still using my Euphoria. Let me just briefly go over my settings here, and then we'll get started sewing. So I have my stitch length set at about 2.5. Chain stitch. So this is if you have a Triumph or an Evolution or an Accolade, an 8-thread serger. I'm using the cover stitch side of the machine. This is the Euphoria. All it does is cover stitch. I love this machine. I bought this machine just to piece quilts on, everybody. That's how much I like to use it to piece with. So by doing so, this is where I get the endless bobbin that's in the title of this series. When you piece on a serger or a cover stitch machine, if you're using the 2-thread chain stitch, needle thread, looper thread, this is your bobbin right here, a 2,000 to 3,000 yard bobbin, depending on which type of serger thread you're using. Do you have to use serger thread? No. Check this out. I could use Aurifil if I wanted to and put it through the needle or through the looper or both. You don't have to use serger thread just when you're using a serger. You can also use regular sewing / quilting thread. If you can fit it through the needle or through a looper, you can use it. Doesn't matter what kind it is. Okay. I like Madeira. It doesn't produce as much lint. Okay. So I'm going to swap back to this other camera. Swapping to the other camera right there. There we go. Get me a drink of my water. Okay, now we have, I'm going to chain piece these. And what we're going to do, when you get 2 of these together, check it out, you're going to flip it. So when we make this center seam, there are no seam lines to match up. See how that does that? Check this one out that's sewn, already done. See, there's the last seam, the joining seam for the 2 halves right there. There are no seam lines to line up. That's another thing I love about this one. Makes it fun, makes it fast, makes it easy. Okay. So, get my corner all set. That I'm going to start with. Then all I have to do is keep the raw edges lined up and hit my 1/4 inch mark on my marking tape. Remember, I put this on my machine. The red line, you line up to wherever your needle is located. Then the black lines on each side of the red line, that's your 1/4 inch mark. Just like masking tape, super easy to apply to your machine, whether it's a serger or a sewing machine, whatever. And it's really great to use. Love this stuff. Okay. Okay. There we go. And we're just going to keep on keeping on, getting them all done. The only thing I'm going to look for, I'm not going to put 2 of the same fabrics. 4 different fabrics in each block. I will not double up on any of the fabrics. I want to make sure there's no two fabrics the same touching each other. That's my only rule for this. Hi, Coralie. Good to see you. I'm just checking to make sure there's 4 different, no fabric is being doubled in the block. Other than that, I'm not going to pick and choose because I want there to be an element of serendipity in the piecing. I just love that word, serendipity. Serendipity. And the only other thing, I am trying to keep my orientation the same throughout this. For instance, on this one, there's the larger rectangle. So that is what I will put a smaller rectangle on top of. I just try to make sure the strips are oriented the same way from block to block to block. Then when it comes time to sew the blocks together, yeah, you won't have to worry about something not looking odd or out of place. Okay. I've got 4 blocks already finished. That means I have 77 of these seams. And all of this seaming, guess what? I have not had to put in another bobbin or change a bobbin or wind a bobbin. You literally can piece an entire quilt top without ever changing having to touch a bobbin or change a bobbin or wind a bobbin. That one cone of thread is your bobbin. That's why I like to use my serger or my cover stitch machine to piece with. You can use an overlock type serger. For instance, a 3-thread or 2-thread or 4-thread overlock would work perfectly as well. You'll just be using more thread. But if you say you're going to make a piece of quilt top and you want to use it as a tablecloth and not even quilt it, that is where I would totally use maybe a 4-thread overlock to piece with, and that way there will be no fraying on the back of that quilt top, and you can use it as a table linen. Oh my gosh, and not even quilt it. And I have some quilt tops that I have had pieced for that I use like that for many years, and they are just perfectly great shape like that. Oh, hi Linda. No, it really doesn't matter because you're not going to be nesting seams. What I did though, I laid it down so that the smaller piece was on top, and then I pressed it away from the larger piece. For instance, this is how I did all of my pressing today. Say that here was this. I placed it on the ironing board. I folded that over and pressed it that way, and just pressed right there so that seam would lay nice and flat. I did not press any seams open, so that's what I did. But it doesn't matter which way you do it. Unless, there's a caveat, depending on your fabric. If you have really light fabric where you can see a shadow through it, you want to press to the dark. Okay. If that's a consideration, press it to the dark. Otherwise, just press them all one way. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter since we're not lining up seams and having to nest. Oh, you're welcome, Linda. Woohoo. I tell you, I didn't even have to break into my box of Kaffe quarters. So that's a good thing. That'll be another quilt top, a future quilt top. Another plus to piecing on this with that chain stitch, you don't have to worry about backs. Now here's two I would not sew together. The small rectangles are the exact same fabric. So I'll set one to the side and pull another one off, and then work it back into this other side as soon as I can. Let's see, right there. There we go. Now they're different. There we go. Had several of them there in that one stack that I had to filter away. And I'll work them back in. I spent part of this afternoon researching for a good camera setup for my long arm. Kind of got the mounting part figured out. Now I just have to pick a camera to put that out. And I think I'm going to go with like a Hero 10 Black or something like that. I have Hero 6s, those little sports cameras, but you cannot use from Hero 6 and 7 series, you cannot use as a webcam. Supposedly Hero 8 and higher, as long as it's like a Hero 8 Black or higher, you can use those as a webcam, is what I've read. Doing some more research on that. That is what I'm kind of leaning towards right now. Let's see here. Right there. Would be mounted to the front, on the front of my long arm, pointed down towards the foot. Oh, hi, Chris. Hi. So what I'm doing, this is episode 3, and I'm using, this quilt top is being pieced using Kaffe layer cakes. So there's 2 more episodes you can watch from the beginning also, but right now I'm making my blocks. Right here is one of the blocks from 4 different fabrics. So a layer cake is a 10-inch square of fabric, and there's a series of cuts. You can watch that episode 1, which is a Feature Friday episode of the Kaffe layer cake series, and that will show you how I did my cuts on this. But basically, you're going to take your layer cake, measure in from one side, those are 10-inch squares, measure in from one side 3.5 inches and cut. And then you're going to, that would leave you with a 10 by 10. This is half of a 10 by 10. And after you get all those done and pressed, then you're going to cut them, the 10 by 10s, in half like this, so you end up with 2 pieces like this. Then you're going to mix them together, mix the 2 halves together, and sew them back together again to wind up with a block like this. Okay, that's it in a nutshell. Okay, but yes, I am using you could use a 3 or 4 thread overlock to piece with for this, or what I'm using is the 2 thread chain stitch on my cover stitch serger. My cover stitch machine. Or you could also just, if you don't have have that, you can use your sewing machine and just use a 1/4" piecing foot. It's all good. I just like to piece on my cover stitch machine and my sergers because I don't like to wind bobbins. And when you piece on one of these, a machine from a serger family, 1 cone of thread is your bobbin, and you never have to wind a bobbin. And that's one of the reasons I really love piecing on a serger. Because I don't like to wind bobbins. It's just that simple. Yes, I know you can get pre-winds, but when you piece like this quilt top I'm piecing, I'll never have to put a bobbin in or anything because I have a 2,000 to 3,000 yard bobbin, because that's what 1 cone of thread is. Oh, I'm just using the foot that came with the machine. And what I did, Chris, I bought, this is like masking tape. Oh, Chris, this is the Euphoria here, so I'm just using the foot that came with your Euphoria. I love my Euphoria. I bought it just to piece with. But what I did, this tape, this quilter's tape here, I wind up the red mark with my needle, my single needle I have in, and taped it down to the bed here. I'll switch to the other camera so you can see it better. And then I just want the 2 black marks on each side of the red. That's your 1/4" mark. So it makes it super easy to get a 1/4" seam this way. Let me swap to my other camera. I'm going to bring it closer and around so you can see that. But see there's my tape. And where the red is, that's my needle position. And my 1/4" mark is that black line. Super easy. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. As you can see, I'll leave it onto that view here for a little bit. And all I'm going to do now is just sewing my 2 halves I've cut apart. The only rule is there's 4 different fabrics in each block. Don't have a double. Don't have any fabric repeated in each block is what we're striving for here. And I love piecing on the Euphoria. I mean, it is just so awesome. I also use the Euphoria to do a lot of embellishing. I like to call it serger embroidery. Everybody, this is a cover stitch only machine. So but sometimes we'll call it a serger. It's in the serger family, but this is cover stitch only. So you can have up to 3 needles in this machine. I love my Euphoria. Has a nice wide 5-inch throat space. And I occasionally will use it when I'm making a garment to do seam finishing and stuff like that with it. It's just a great machine. If I ever had to downsize the amount of machines I have, this would be one machine that would not go. Oh, Linda, I have the fabric guide also, and I highly recommend to use that. I don't have it on here because I have misplaced it in my studio and I can't find it. It's probably under a pile of. I'm going to do a deep clean this next week on my studio because this is my backup method here using the tape. The tape works really great, but I love the fabric guide even better. I will try to find it before I sew all these blocks together. I last used it on my Sashiko machine because it also fits the Baby Lock Sashiko. And I've searched where I had the Sashiko set and it's not there. So I took it off and laid it on a shelf or something and I can't find it. It's here. It's here somewhere. Oh, you're welcome, Linda. I've got several quilt tops planned. I was going through my stash and I found a bunch of quilt kits I'd bought when I was out traveling a few years ago for a different company. So I have a lot of quilts planned to piece for the fall, and I'm going to do them all on camera. It'll be fun, hopefully. You think it's fun? And the great thing I love about this layout for this one, there are no seam lines to match while you're piecing the blocks. Of course, when you set blocks together, there are always seam lines to match, but only where you're joining the two blocks together. Oh yes, Linda, that will fit on your Sashiko machine. There's 6 other attachments for the sergers that will fit the Sashiko. The downturn feller hemmers, the downturn fellers, and then the hemmers. The single turn hemmers will also work on it. You could even, like I said earlier, you could piece this on any machine. You can even piece quilt tops on the Sashiko, Linda. I have pieced, it's not as fast because you know since having that machine, but if you want the piecing to look like it's been hand pieced, yeah, you can achieve that just piecing on the Sashiko. I use that Sashiko for much more than just piecing, than just quilting. I've made garments with it. Anything, you can use the Sashiko anywhere you can use a straight stitch. It does not have to be just for quilting. It's another one of my machines that I just couldn't do without. You know, I like making the last quilt I finished was a super complex quilt. It was a Mariner's Compass, and after piecing that and then quilting it and all that fun stuff, I decided I want to make something that was a lot easier and less time consuming. Don't get me wrong, Mariner's Compass is one of my all-time favorite quilts. But it can be very tedious to piece. And it was all paper pieced and all that fun stuff. And I just wanted a super easy, fun quilt top to make, and this is what I chose to make. Plus, all of the fabric for the blocks I'm making here, that was leftovers from that project. Hi, Ernestine. Oh, certainly, Linda. So here is the underside. There's the underside of that block that's been pressed and all that fun stuff. You get this out a different angle here so you can see it. There's the back side of it, completely pieced block. See how nice and neat the seams are? But then on the ones I'm sewing together now, there's what that looks like. It's been pressed up to the small side. And once again, I'm using a 2.5 stitch length. Oh, hi, Sally. Thank you. Howdy. Just moving right along here. Okay. There we go. That'll work. And I'm using the equivalent for this quilt top that I'm making, 2 layer cakes. So we take 2 layer cakes. to make all of the blocks that I'm making. If I did not put a border on it, it would measure approximately 82 by 82 inches. Oh, wonderful, Sally. The Accolade is a great machine. You could do what I'm doing right now on that Accolade by setting it up for a 2-thread chain stitch on the cover stitch side of that Accolade. Absolutely. If I can piece a quilt top on my serger, I'm going to piece it on a serger instead of a sewing machine. Now, that being said, sometimes I'll be on here piecing on other machines, like my Altair or the Solaris or the Accomplish, or even the Sashiko. But that's just so that people can see other machines doing the same thing. Gosh, I hope that made sense. Okay. Oops. I have another baby lock machine coming to me. I ordered one. It hasn't shipped yet. I get mine straight from Baby Lock. But that Allegro that came out last year, the Allegro is what I have coming to the studio. It just hasn't shipped yet, but I'll be doing a lot of videos on that once it gets here. Is anyone out there watching, do any of you still have an Olissimo Gold? That was the top of the line machine before the Destiny came out. Just curious. I actually have one of those in the studio as well. Have an Olissimo Gold 2. The oldest Baby Lock machine I still have is ESG3, the Elagio. That's a sewing embroidery machine combo. In its time, it was a top of the line machine as well. It still embroideries and sews perfectly, but just to give you a clue as to how old that machine is, there is no USB on the side of it. It has a floppy disk drive built into that machine. It's pretty cool, actually. Come here, Bobo. What you doing, Pumpkin, huh? Okay, everybody, I gotta give my puppy some love. He's coming here wanting attention. Come here. Come here, Sugi. Come here. Oh, there we go. Yes. There, look into this camera. Right here. Look here. Right up here. Yes. Yes, I know. You were outside, weren't you? Yes. Okay. That's my little Puffin. He's my little Yorkie. I gotta give him a haircut tomorrow. I'm gonna trim his hair. Oh, Puffy. Auntie Christina said hello. Yes. Yes, you're a good dog. Yes, you're a good puppy. Yes, you are. Okay, that one is next. Put this one. Put this one with it. Yeah, that'll work. Oops. Okay. Tell you, during that real bad heat wave that was here about 2 weeks ago, as it was all over the country, the central air stopped working. Because, come to find out, Mike was able to troubleshoot it and repair it. A capacitor on the outside unit had blown, so he tracked down the numbers on it and got a replacement part off of Amazon, of all places, and repaired it. And it's working perfectly now. He's good about that kind of stuff because anything with electronics and circuit boards, that's right up his alley. But yeah, it cost us like $25 in his time to repair the central air unit. If we'd have called in a professional, I'm sure that would have been a $500 or $600 repair bill. It took about 3 days for the part to get here. But then in the meantime, we got one of the window units out of the carriage house in storage and put it upstairs. So it was all good. Plus we had ceiling fans and floor fans and all that fun stuff. Yes, Vanessa. Don't know what I would do without him, to be perfectly honest. Don't ever want to find out. Just keeping on, keeping on. Yeah, he knows how to work on a lot of stuff like that. His family, they had a big grain farm in Ohio. So he grew up having to work on the tractors and all that kind of stuff. Then he owned a computer networking repair shop in Ohio and did all that. So he knows his way around a circuit board and electronics, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Well, that's awesome, Vanessa. He's getting ready to do a brake job on our minivan. He's just got the parts. He ordered all the parts from Rock Auto, and they're being delivered on Tuesday. Good. I tell you, I'm getting close. There's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Got 10 more of these to sew together, and this step will be complete. Then on the next episode, we're going to sew all the blocks together. Angle a little bit better right there. There we go. Let's just swap to the other camera for a little while. That's right, Michael. I'm going to swap to one of my other cameras just to give us a different viewpoint. Well, that's awesome, Ruby. There we go. Of course, I'm chain piecing. These are all connected back here. That's the pile we've already got done tonight. it's too much alike. That blends in together too much. There we go. I wanted to kind of contrast with each other in each block as much as possible. Sally, I'm using the foot that came with the Euphoria. It's just the cover chain stitch foot. If you have an Accolade or Triumph or an Evolution, it would be called the chain cover stitch foot. That's the one I used to piece with. And let's see here, this one and this one. See, I'm just chain piecing like I would if I were on my regular sewing machine. And the great thing about this chain stitch, you don't have to worry about back stitching. It's not going to come undone. It's a very secure stitch. When I get done sewing these together, I'll take that foot off so you can get a good look at it. Or I'll swap to the other camera. Let me just do that real quick. We're going to swap to the other camera for a moment so you can see, have a better view of that foot. This is the foot that comes with the Euphoria, right here. You can see I have the needle in the C3 position, which is for the chain cover stitch is the rightmost position, C3, right there. And we'll swap that other, go back to the other view. Oops, hello there. Clicked on the wrong button. There we go. Okay. down to my last bits here, and I'm going to make sure they're all going to line up together well. What I mean by that, I want to line them out, lay them out now, so that I don't have any fabric repeats in one block. So I'm going to mix, match, and marry these all together before I go any further. I don't want to have to rip out any stitches. We all know how much I love doing that. Not, you know, that's like a big no-no for me. I hate ripping out stitches even more than I dislike winding bobbins. Not my favorite thing to do, that's for sure. There we go. So we're down to our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more units to sew together. This has been a good test today of the new setup. It is actually passing all the check marks we had laid out for the tests to do the live stream with being able to get all the cameras working again. It has been a adventuresome year, tech-wise, for our studio, for our streaming content. Two more to go. Woohoo. And I just realized with that one, will it matter? Yes, it will. I did not follow my piecing. I didn't have the correct side up when I pieced this. So let me just see something real quick here. Am I going to have to rip that? Yabba dabba do. Do I have to rip this? Let me see here. Hold on. This. Boo, 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 boo. You know what? It won't be that. It's not going to matter. It's all good. Okay, never mind. Never mind. It's all good. Let's get one more sewn together here. Then we'll get all these blocks cut apart. Linda, you should always change your needles after about 8 hours of usage. For me, for a project like this, I would just put in a new needle when I start a new project. Like the quilt top. Once I finish this quilt top on it, I'll put in a new needle. Oh boy. Now I know I can't let it stay like that because there was a seam line I was going to have to match. And we don't have to do that on this. So There we go. Woohoo. Alrighty. Now we're good. I didn't have it turned properly to get started. But whether it's your sewing machine, your long arm, embroidery machine, rule of thumb is after 8 hours of sewing time, change the needle. Do it more often if you need to. And on a big, I'm a quilter, I just put in a new needle with every project. That's how I do it. Okay. There we go. Now, let me get these all cut apart. Stacked up and get them ready for the ironing board. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to count them after I get them cut apart to make sure I have enough blocks before I go any further. I want to make sure I have all 81 blocks in total for my layout. Yes. Tula pink scissors, everybody. Shears. Y'all know I love my Tula and my Kaffe. And what I like to do, if I don't buy it wholesale, you have to order quite a bit to order wholesale. If I'm just needing a few things, I will watch places to put stuff like layer cakes and jelly rolls on sale or clearance or whatever. Then I'll just buy up a bunch of them and put them in my stash. You can save a lot of money that way. But you know, with some of the Kaffe and Tula fabrics, you don't want to wait a year to get it at a discounted price. So because some of that fabric is so awesome and you just can't wait to get your hands on it. I will normally buy, let's say there's 13 fabrics in a new, for instance, a new Tula Pink collection of fabric. Well, I will at least get 1 yard off of each bolt. Plus, or jelly roll, or layer cake, or fat quarter collection, or one of each. It depends how well I really like the fabric design. Oops. And we're just cutting them apart now. Cutting them apart. Making a big stack. Our target number for this stack here is for 77 units. I've already got 4 units made. That would give me a total of 81 units, 81 blocks. Woohoo! As you can see, this is only my 3rd episode, and I have not been piecing on this unless I've off camera. So I've actually only got, this should be all my blocks completely pieced. I did that including the cutting and everything, in, let's see, what time is it? 4 hours. It just took approximately, and I could have done it faster if I hadn't been on camera, but approximately 3.5 to 4 hours to piece all the blocks for this top. Not bad. I mean, it's totally you could piece this entire quilt top in one weekend and not really kill yourself sewing 8 or 9 hours a day to do it. All right, those are all cut apart. Now I'm going to count these. And I'm going to put them in stacks of 10 because that way it'll be easier for me to keep up with it. So there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So there's one stack of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. As you can see there, oops, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I got here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 60. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 70. 77 is what we're looking for. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 77, so that is 81. Here's the other 4 that's complete. So there are my 81 blocks. It will be 9 blocks wide by 9 blocks long, plus a border. This was the last one, so we'll just open it up and have a quick look at that one. There's that one. Look at a couple more here. I like that one too. And each block is a little bit different from the next one. I mean, they're all pieced exactly the same, but no 2 blocks will be exactly alike with the same fabrics in it. Woohoo! Okay, all my blocks are done. My next step off camera will be to press everything and then set them all together. That will be episode 4, is setting the blocks together. So, any questions? Let me swap to my other camera here. That one right there. Hello there. So, yes, pretty awesome. That was only a little over an hour to finish those steps. So did an hour and a half earlier today and a couple hours. Yeah, so it's basically 4 hours to piece all the blocks completely, including cutting and trimming and all that fun stuff. Wonderful, Vanessa. If I do not go mushroom hunting tomorrow, I will be live again tomorrow. Excuse me. But we'll see how that goes. If not, I'll be live on Monday. But I will get that scheduled. I will get the next one scheduled in the morning. So if you haven't done so already, please like the video. Click that like button. Excuse me. And also subscribe to the channel and click the notifying bell. That way you will actually be notified when I am live or when I schedule a live. Hi, Donna. The name of the fabric line is Kaffe, and these were Kaffe layer cakes is what this was. All this was 2 packages of layer cakes. Then what I'm going to do, you have a nice evening too, Vanessa, and then I'll explain more on the next episode how I'm going to do the borders. I'm going to still think about it a little bit. But what I have pieced right back here, this is all Kaffe pieced from 1 Kaffe jelly roll. I'm going to cut this up and use it and cut it into border strips for my border is what I'm going to do with this. So yes. Oh, you're welcome, Donna. So everybody, you could actually use any layer cake. Just find a layer cake that you really love all the fabric that's in it. Get 2 of them if you want to make a big quilt. 1 will make a smaller quilt. And have fun. I'll see you on the next episode. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. I love each and every one of you. Good night, everybody.